Hello nieces and niestos, how are you today? Welcome back to the channel. I'm SavingsFashionista. She is I and I am her, and over here we do mainly things fragrances, whether it's body or home. And today we are here to do a fragrance house ranking. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts and how I feel about this fragrance house, please. So the fragrance house that I'm going to rank for you today is the house of Kayali. As many of you may know, Kayali has released a wedding collection. It's a male-female dual fragrance release, and it's good, you guys. So if you have not checked out my initial thoughts and review, you can click the card above, and it'll take you right over to my initial thoughts and review. So we're going to get started with this fragrance collection. Kayali currently has 14 fragrances in her collection. I have experienced or have all but 3, so I have 11 fragrances that I will be ranking. The 3 fragrances that I do not own or have never experienced are Citrus 08, Elixir 11, and the Deja Vu White Flower 57. So starting with number 11, the number 11 spot goes to Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli 64. Now, the campaign for this fragrance, the introduction for this fragrance, it was absolutely gorgeous. It was gorgeous. I think her main theme was opulence, and she looked it beautiful. Her whole ensemble, she just looked it like a golden queen. It's exactly what she looks like to me. So this fragrance has been compared between the two, Vanilla 28 as well as the invite only Amber 23. Some of the fragrance notes in this fragrance are boozy notes, rum, leather, and oud. So just based off of some research that I did on the fragrance, I kind of understood and knew that this may not be the fragrance for me, and I was right, you guys. So I am glad that I followed my mind and my experience, and I only got a 10 ml, and as you can see, I have barely used it. But this fragrance is definitely a vanilla fragrance. It has a high patchouli note, and it does give you that Arabian oudy type fragrance, but it is just too much for me. It does have a fan following, but it is just not one of my favorites. So again, in the number 11 spot is the Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli 64. Now in the number 10 spot is the invite only Amber 23. The invite only Amber 23, let me just give you a little backstory on that. That is the fragrance that I had to opt out for, because at the time of me trying to get Vanilla 28, I think it was the end of 2020, I want to say, but this fragrance was so popular. It was sold out so much. It was just hard to get it. You couldn't get it on Sephora, you couldn't get it on Huda Beauty, and I'm not even sure if Sephora was carrying her fragrances at that time. But long story short, I could not get Vanilla 28. So what I did was I went over to Mercari and I decided to get the invite only, and I got it in 100 ml, as you can see. When I got the fragrance, and as I did my little research on the fragrance, I thought that it would be something that I really liked. It had black cherry, it had tobacco, it had some oud, patchouli, and of course amber. Very strong, rich auntie type of fragrance. So getting the fragrance and wearing the fragrance, it just did not agree with my body. So what I did was I gifted it to a friend of mine. Beautiful packaging, so beautiful. So I just thought that it would, best serve my friend opposed to myself. So again, in the number 10 spot, it's the invite only Amber 23. And the number 9 spot is the Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper 25. Now, I don't really like to buy fragrances based off packaging, and I said that I was going to stop saying that I do that, because sometimes the packaging, it is the, you had me at hello. It's the draw in. It's the attraction. The packaging is so beautiful. This is the one that's in the pink metallic bright pink packaging. It is absolutely beautiful. I am a fan of pink pepper, so even just the name, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna really like that. But at that point, I was really learning after my experience with the Amber 23 is to, safely purchase these. So I bought this one and 3 other fragrances in the 10 mil. Now, when I got this fragrance, the fragrance is beautiful. It has pink pepper, it has saffron, patchouli, and magnolia. Now, I am all for pink pepper fragrances that has rose and or patchouli in it, but I was so intrigued that it had the saffron note in it. So I got the fragrance, wore the fragrance, and I just have other fragrances with pink pepper in it that I like over this one, and I've just never bought the 50 mil. So again, this is at the number 9 spot, and it is Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper 25. Now in the number 8 spot is the Love Feast Burning Cherry 48. This is the first fragrance I think that she released where she started putting the fragrance notes on the back. So this fragrance and any fragrance that was released after this, that I've received, it has the fragrance notes on the back. And this is a beautiful fragrance, you guys. This fragrance, it has burning cherry, raspberry, praline, Palo Santos, Gaiac wood, and patchouli. Now, there was a method to my madness when I purchased this fragrance. Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. I've had that fragrance in my collection probably over 3 years. I can count the times maybe on both hands that I have worn the fragrance. It's something in that fragrance that just does not mix well with me once the fragrance dry down, and I was hoping that whatever that is in the Lost Cherry, it was not in here, and it was not. Really enjoy this fragrance. It pairs well with other fragrance. You definitely get that deep cherry liqueur. I do wish that it was just a tad bit sweeter, but I do like the oudness that it has in it, as well as the patchouli. So again, in the number 8 spot, this is Love Feast Burning Cherry 48. And I think I did a full dedicated review. I'll leave it linked up top. In the number 7 spot, this is one of the most recent ones. Actually, the most recent. This is the Wedding Silk Santal 36. Yes, it's new, and it could possibly change because it is so new, but right now it's in the number 7 spot. The fragrance notes are sparkling champagne, white freesia, pink praline, lush nectarine, sandalwood, and sugared musk. Is this fragrance beautiful? Yes, indeed it is, but it's in the number 7 spot, you guys. I don't know if it'll change. It could go up or down. I don't really know, but beautiful fragrance. It is definitely a sweet sandalwood type of fragrance, musky, sweet sandalwood type of fragrance. I never get the effervescence that I was anticipating from the sparkling champagne, but I do get the sweetness from the nectar as well as the gourmand edge from the praline. But once this dries down, it dries down to a pretty sandalwood musky fragrance. The packaging is absolutely gorgeous. I think Mona did an outstanding job with this latest creation. And again, in the number 7 spot is the Santal 36. And the number 6 spot is Vanilla 28. This is the fragrance that started it all. And you're probably like, how it get in the number 6 spot and you're almost half done with it? And it is because this fragrance is perfect for layering and combination. If you need to sweeten up a fragrance, or if you need to enhance the vanilla note in a fragrance, get you some of this. This is perfect for those reasons. And it does wear, you know, in isolation, it wears well. But it did not make my top 5 right now, or my top 3. So the fragrance notes in here are vanilla, brown sugar, and musk. Very beautiful fragrance. Completely enjoy this fragrance. You definitely get that brown sugar note. I'm talking about, it's like kitchen brown sugar. It smells so sweet, so good. And like I said, if you need to enhance the vanilla in a fragrance, or you need to pair this pairs really well with one of my other favorites in her collection. And I have used this for multiple reasons: to layer, to enhance, and just to combine with other fragrances, even from other fragrance houses. So again, this is the Vanilla 28. Would I repurchase this? Definitely. This is a fragrance that I would love to keep in my collection. All right, so in the number 5 spot. Now this fragrance, I should have used more of this, but I think it's because it was in the back of my fragrance collection and I kind of forgot about it. But this fragrance is so pretty. Musk is one of my favorite fragrance profile, but it's something about this fragrance that just brings back and evokes so many memories, good memories. This fragrance is definitely a nostalgia for me. It puts me in the mind of my grandmother. It gives you this sassy, just clean, I'm minding my business, doing my own thing type of fragrance. And that's exactly how I would explain my grandmother. And I think she used to wear something called Jovan's Musk or something like that. I don't know if they still sell that, but this is what this reminds me of. I'm going to look that up and see if I can find me some of that. But this is the Musk 12. It has fragrance notes of lotus flower, jasmine, musk, and sandalwood. If you are a musk fragrance lover, you definitely would, like to have this in your fragrance collection, because this is one of those musks that you can use to mix with a variety of fragrances. It is a sweet musk. Really nice. Really nice. I completely enjoyed this. You can't tell because I forgot I had it, but I need to pull it out more. All right, and the number 4 spot is the Eden Juicy Apple 01. And I'm not a big apple fan. There are some fruity fragrances that I really like, but I've just never been a person that really like apple fragrances for my body. But this one, it has changed my mindset on apple fragrances. And the apple in here, it gives me that fall harvest type of vibe. But this is definitely a fragrance that you can wear year round. This fragrance, you can make this fragrance more sweeter, or you can bring it down some. It's one of those type of fragrance depending on what you pair it with. This fragrance wears exceptionally well with the vanilla 28. Anytime I have worn this, most of the time, not anytime or all times, but at least 85% of the times that I have worn this, I have mixed it with the vanilla 28. The Eden Juicy Apple, it has notes of lychee, wild berry, musk, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it is absolutely beautiful. So if you are one of those sweet, fruity type of girls, this is definitely an apple fragrance I feel that you will completely enjoy. Again, in the number 4 spot, Eden Juicy Apple 01. Now, in the number 3 spot, and the only reason that this is in the number 3 spot is because I'm not a person that say you wear this during this time, you wear that. Although you get different levels of performance, it's important to wear fragrances during certain times because you're going to get a different performance. But if it's something that I want to feel like, or a mood that I'm trying to evoke, I don't care when it is. I'm going to wear what I want when I want. But this fragrance here, this is summertime in a bottle. And that's the only reason it's in the number 3 opposed to the number 2, because normally when I wear this during the summer. This is one of those coconut fragrances minus that overly suntan lotion fragrance note that you get in a lot of coconut fragrance. It is sweet. It is sexy. It is just so good, you guys. It is good. This is the Utopia Vanilla Coco 21. This fragrance is so alluring, you guys. It's so good. When I wear this, I just think about an exotic beach place. The aesthetics are all beachy, hot, warm, sexiness. It's just beautiful. I'm just almost at a loss for words. This is one of my top coconut fragrances. Utopia Vanilla Coco 21. It has fragrance notes of pear blossom, coconut, tuberose, jasmine, and sandalwood. And I think this has a little gardenia in it. And I'm not even a gardenia fan. But those white floral notes that are in here, it just gives it that real mystique vibe. It is so good. This is good, you guys. So again, in the number 3 spot, this is Utopia Vanilla Coco 21. Now, in the number 2 spot, you could say you just in lust with this fragrance. You just got it. But it could change. Who's to say? But I have been completely enjoying this over the past 4 or 5 days that I have had it in my collection. So much so, I initially ordered the 10 ml. When I opened it and I finished doing the little unboxing, I went immediately to Huda Beauty and I purchased this fragrance in the 50 ml size. This is the partner to the Silk Santal. This is the Velvet Santal 35. And yes, this is the one that was designed for men, but this one is for me. I gave my husband the 10 ml and surprisingly he likes it, but I know what it is that makes me like this fragrance so much. I am having a thing right now with sandalwood, and the sandalwood in here, it is so creamy. It is so good. This is not an overly masculine fragrance. It is not an overly feminine fragrance. It just has the perfect balance for my skin. Even when the fragrance dries down and I don't get that projection, I'm constantly sniffing. It's intoxicating, you guys. It's just addictive. I just, you know, when you're wearing it, you just constantly... This is so good. It has some fragrance notes of jasmine petals, tea leaves, white musk, cedarwood, benzoin, and sandalwood. Definitely the two notes that stick out the most to me in this fragrance are the white musk and the sandalwood. And the sandalwood is so good. This is so good, you guys. It is good. Yeah, I gave my husband the 10 ml and I'm keeping the 50 ml. This is for me. It's good. All right, so that's the number 2 spot. The Wedding Velvet Santal 35. And in the number 1 spot, you've probably done a process of elimination, and that's okay. But the number 1 spot right now, things could change, is the Yum Pistachio Gelato 33. This is so good, you guys. I do think that this fragrance is so good to me because it's one of those comforting fragrances. I just recently got a new fragrance and it is so comforting. Fragrances for me, the mood that it evokes, a lot of times that trumps how it really smells in my mind. It's really how it makes me feel that puts it in a certain category for me. And this is the number 1 spot because who doesn't want to be comforted? Who doesn't want to, when you are a nurturer, born nurturer like most women are, who doesn't want to have a smell on them that's inviting? And, you know, even your young baby would really enjoy smelling this. This is such a comforting fragrance. It has pistachio gelato, hazelnut, sweet rum, whipped cream, marshmallow, and cotton candy. Now, this fragrance is not a powerhouse fragrance. It doesn't last very long, so you definitely have to take your decant with it. But the feeling that it evokes is why I like it and what makes it number 1 for me. It is so good. It is definitely a gourmand fragrance. I do think that it is a safe blind buy in my opinion. Now, if you're one of those people that wants your fragrances just, it's not going to provide that. This is a mild, comforting fragrance. And I totally love it. I love the way that it makes me feel. I love how it smells on me. I love how it pairs with other fragrances. So right now, this is my number 1. And again, this is the Yum Pistachio Gelato 33. So I want to thank you guys for coming back to my channel. If you would like to, you can leave your top, your most liked, or your least liked, or both fragrances from the house of Kayali, and let me know what you think about the latest 2 that has come out, and even the Yum Pistachio, because this was like a hit or miss fragrance. You know, you either liked it or you didn't, and it took it a little while before it just grew on me, and I was like, this is it. I am really vibing with this. So you can leave those comments below, and I want to thank you for coming back to the channel, and do not forget, you, yes, you are great. Bye-bye.